Some big breaking news now. We've been keeping you updated with this throughout the morning and late last night as well, but things have moved on because Arsenal, we can now say, are close to agreeing a deal with Chelsea for midfielder Jorginho. All parties, they're willing and they're hopeful that the move will be done in time. Jorginho's in the final 6 months of his Chelsea contract. Now, this is important. He's not seen as an alternative to Moises Caicedo. Arsenal are ready to do a deal for Caicedo if Brighton change their stance. That stance, we know, has been throughout the window. He is not for sale. If that changes, Arsenal are still ready to do that, as well as bringing in Jorginho. Right, Olivia, Jorginho, 6 months left in his Chelsea contract. So in that sense, for the player, it makes sense. For Chelsea, wanting another central midfielder, I suppose that makes sense. And Jorginho potentially getting a title-winning medal with Arsenal makes sense, but maybe the fans might not be so keen.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea fans will be particularly keen about giving a central midfielder to Arsenal and strengthening their bid for the title, because Jorginho does exactly that. Like we said at the top of the show, he is exactly what Arsenal need in terms of they need numbers in midfield. He is such an experienced Premier League player. He's a Champions League winning player. He's a European Championships winning player. Jorginho has got all of that in his locker, and he's a player that he's very different to Thomas Partey. He's very different to all of the players that Arsenal had when we look at the comparison. But in my head, I'm struggling to see how Chelsea are letting Jorginho go if they don't know that there's potentially someone coming because of the problems that Chelsea have had in central midfield. So part of me is thinking, is there something we don't know that's gone on? And that's the reason why Jorginho has been allowed to leave. But like I said, if Jorginho leaves, I can't imagine Conor Gallagher's going to go now, because I think Chelsea need options in that midfield.
Dave, from this news, and it is big news, the thing that stands out most to me is the fact that he's not seen as an alternative to Caicedo. This isn't a case of, right, we're signing Jorginho, so Caicedo, don't worry, Brighton, you can stay at Brighton. They're saying that they still want him.
I think, and we were talking about this earlier today, actually, I think they're different profiles of players, Jorginho and Caicedo. I think there's question marks over Jorginho's mobility, so Caicedo would bring that. And I think if they're looking at long-term options, and let's not forget Arsenal's policy has been to bring in players who are yet to reach their peak, yet to reach their ceiling in order to push Arsenal on in the years to come. Jorginho is a player for right now. We know that Arsenal have been looking at central midfield options since last summer. This day in the summer, they tried to get Douglas Luiz out of Aston Villa. They've been looking at central midfielders. Jorginho is the one they've settled on for today. They've seen the opportunity. They're going to try and get that deal done today. It seems like it's heading in the direction of travel that Arsenal would want it to be in terms of the deal getting done. So they're ready to continue the pursuit of Caicedo, whether that's now, whether that's in the summer. They're just waiting for Brighton to change that stance, but I can't see that happening.